Well, again, good morning and good afternoon to those out in the East. Thank you all for coming on a hot summer day, I'm sure, out in the East. And for those of you out West here, we're all in the office, a little waiting for the sun to peek through so we can enjoy some summertime. But it's Sean Woodess here from the Verico Canada office. I hope you're all enjoying your summer. The Hear from the Pros series, for those that you haven't attended before, has been running for a few months now, and you can find the past Hear from the Pros videos on our Verico YouTube channel, which are getting anywhere from 200 to 500 hits per video in the first two so far, so it's been an absolute great success. Today we've got another great avenue for you today, hosted by our chair of our National Advisory Council, who's also the president of the NBABC as well, Jared Dreyer, and he's going to be interviewing Brian Matthey, who's very well known in the industry, had lots of awards and accomplishments, and really wants to talk to you about how to touch your customer base and how he's grown his business. So without further ado, let me pass it over to your host, Jared Dreyer.
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for attending today. We're going to have a great session. Brian has some excellent points on database management, and we're going to have a good conversation about that, on how to better mine your database and to get more results from your current database. What I'd like to do is, obviously, with Brian, Brian's been in the business since 1989 and has been a banker. His company, Verico, the Mortgage Professionals in Southern Ontario, has 40 people and is in the process of overdoing $300 million annually in production. And Brian?
Yeah. I just want to meet.
Okay.
The conference is in lecture mode.
Sorry about the technical there. We had to mute all of you on that side, so it's just Brian and I now. And Brian personally generates over 120 deals per year for around $25 million, also managing broker with his partner in a Kingston market where the average sale price is $200K. So that's very impressive, Brian, on that side. So I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here.
Jared, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. And first of all, I think congrats to the NAC for this initiative. I listened to the first one with Bernadette and the other one with Callum. And great insight into the industry and what they're doing. And hopefully what I'm going to show you today is sort of a background or experience over the last 23 years and sort of the journey that I've taken with regard to marketing and database marketing. In our little market in Kingston, as I say, we're 120,000 people. Our average sale price is $260,000. And we've got competition all over the place. We have DLC in-house at Royal LePage. There's two other independent DLC offices, which I just love them competing against each other. Mortgage Alliance, Centum Mortgage Intelligence, and, of course, Road Rep. So, we have a lot of competition out there, but it's really interesting when you take a look at database marketing and what it's been able to accomplish. So when I take a look at database marketing, I take a look at it from two standpoints. First of all, from the personal and the corporate. And in the corporate side, because I'm a partner and manage our brokerage with two other partners on the corporate side, we look at base name positioning, and we've used newspaper, we've used radio, TV, flyers, real estate publications, website, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and home shows. So we do all the corporate stuff. But on the personal side, I've also used flyers and mail drops. I've used radio. I've used newspaper, real estate trade publications, client realtor promotions, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, email, and video. So I've done a lot. And in the course of doing all that, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that the very best source of business is my past client, and the best return of my investment in time and money is past client. And the other thing I think I've learned is my relationship with the mortgage starts when the mortgage is funded. And I think a lot of people concentrate on their next deal as opposed to dedicating time with their own database. And what I found over 23 years in a learning experience is that's where a lot of my business resides. And I was one of those people that was always looking, how do I create that next deal, and not realizing that those deals were sitting in my database.
Yeah, Brian, just to interject quickly on that, I think, that's a key point where you made right there. And I think just for all the callers, you have to really focus in on the client you have in hand and how you can maximize that relationship versus trying to just get the deal done and move on to the next client.
Absolutely.
That's a very important point. Just want to stop everyone to really start thinking about that as we go through this.
The other thing is it takes a lot. That's me, guys. Sorry about that. It takes a lot when you take a look at how much it takes to create a lot of money for you out there in the marketplace with advertising and promotion and everything else. And you look at how much it costs to create a client. and how little it costs you to spend the time in your own database. And I think that's one of the big learning experiences that I've had over the years. To be effective in creating business with your database, again, one of the learning experiences is you've got to believe in continuing education and investing your time in learning the craft. And that means time and money on a continual basis, not just sort of, I'm going to do it here, I'm going to do it there, but all the time. And if you learn that, then you can capitalize on changing economic things and things you can capitalize to create a market for yourself. So in my case, when I look at it, there's coaching with Greg Williamson, Doran Aldana, Verical Academy. I attend camp, some IMBA events. I read all the CMP articles. I read Bank of Canada, Globe and Mail. Another Globe Investor Gold is a good place just to keep in tune with what's going on in the stock markets. I check the bond market, economics, keep up with lender emails, client strategies, the inflation hedge strategy, which I'm using significantly right now, realtor strategies, the Verical online webinars, and Verical tools. So I spend a lot of time researching a lot of stuff in the marketplace, and it does take a huge investment of time, but it pays off in spades.
Yeah, Brian, that's a key aspect. I think what a lot of brokers, what you have to be doing now is you got to reinvest. And I think as it shows with you is you're doing a cross-boundary of multiple different channels to get multiple information. And I think what you have to do is you have to do that in today's marketplace. You really got to make sure you're looking at every channel and every opportunity, and and have a couple of core competencies or plans that you want to work with. But also you got to look at everything else on top of that, and it's a constant reinvestment, as you said, Brian.
Absolutely. And the problem with a lot of training is that people get overwhelmed when they get into training and they look at this and say, oh my God, I can't possibly initiate all of this. And I looked at training the same way, but what I found was if you pick one strategy that suits your business model and then you start it, follow through, gauge your results, and continually monitor it, then that one strategy you invest your time in. And again, the problem with most people is they say they don't have the time or they don't have the money. And here's my suggestion: if you don't have time, try marketing porn. And here's how marketing porn came about. I was with Greg Williamson's training and realized I didn't have a lot of time during the day to go into a lot of the stuff that he did. So I'm sitting on my computer for about 3 or 4 nights in a row. My wife's going to bed. It's 11 o'clock at night. She said, what are you doing on your computer? I said, well, honey, I'm looking at marketing porn. Porn? You're looking? No, marketing porn. So my marketing porn is devoting like an hour a day for the last 5 days or in a row, looking at all this stuff at night that I couldn't possibly look at during the day and getting so much more out of it. And you really can't afford not to invest in yourself, both in that time. And, on the money side, really when you look at what you invest in training, it pays dividends, huge dividends. So I think, people get around the fact that it's your choice whether you have the time or not. And if you invest the time and the money, it's, again, going to pay huge dividends.
Yeah, and to emphasize that, I think, one of the key strategy is you need to work out, at least 5 days a week and to spend that 30 minutes or an hour. And whether it's first thing in the morning, like for me, Brian, I do my, I don't use that terminology like I don't know that name, but I do my research, online with everything I do. I do that first thing in the morning. So it's part of my ritual where I go on my computer and for between 30 minutes to an hour, I'll do my research. And I'll do that at the beginning of the day, you choose the end of the night. But I make it a habit that goes into that to get that extra information that the other person doesn't know. So very important.
Yeah, well, again, just set aside a part of your day, whether it be the morning or the afternoon or the evening, whenever you fit, you can fit into your schedule. But again, the investment of time will pay huge, huge dividends. So again, when I look at a database marketing program, it's got to be well organized, and to me, it's got to contain several components. And with me, it starts on the sign up with my client. I have a form that I have my client sign when I sign up, and it's basically a permission form under the Privacy Act that allows me to email them. And I tell them right off the bat that I'm going to keep them up to date on everything that's going on in the marketplace for their benefit. And so automatically I have an email permission built into my sign-up process that takes care of the Privacy Act and gets my client to buy into the fact that I'm going to email them. The next thing that I did was I organized my client base in fixed and variable, and I did it by year so that I have my database organized that I can market out to whoever I'm marketing to and choose who I market to. And the other thing, email marketing, I found is not enough because it gets lost in the email jungle. And marketing has to have a personality that's going to build some trust and isn't all about selling something. And that's, again, something that I've learned in my training recently. So an effective marketing database program has to have three components. The first one is a passive component, which is regularly scheduled value-added updates. And I'll go into the programs detailing that, but something that is value-added to the client. Birthdays, I found a nice surprise with birthday greetings. Clients really appreciate them. Annual review letters, home tips on security, and that's a very passive form of marketing that goes out to my clients on a regular basis that happens sort of in the background. The second part is educational, and educational is keeping my clients up to date with Bank of Canada updates, certainly from my variable rate clients, mortgage strategies that they can use, again, the inflation hedge calculator, and none of that really is selling. It's all passive, it's educational, it's in the background. And then the third part of that marketing program is a call to action. And the call to action is what I've been using together with the passive and the educational in this last year to create what I've done this year. And that call to action is changes in the rates, changes in the marketplace, things that are happening that could impact the client. No one CRM program can accomplish everything you want to do right now. Now, Dynamics may be that program, still in development, but it's not there yet, and I'm a Mac-based guy. So Dynamics is going to have a Mac-based component eventually, but right now I'm using different programs until that comes out. You need measurable metrics in your educational and call to action phases of your market plan, and I'll explain a little further about that. But I get feedback in a lot of the programs that I use on who's opening my email, when they're opening, how many times they open it, so I can gauge an audience response from when I do my marketing. And I truly believe now that you need to incorporate video into your action plan. That's, again, been another evolution that I've done just sort of starting last year. I consider my clients' time. They're more readable, they're more personal, and they build a higher level of trust than simply an email. And I've had a lot of comments from my clients saying, thank God, Brian, you sent me a lot of information, but quite honestly, I only read through the first 2 or 3 lines. Whereas your videos, I really enjoy them. I can sit back, see them at home, outside of work, anytime I want. I can go back in and revisit it, and I get much more out of your videos than I did in your other marketing. Thinking outside the box, looking for ways to continually improve what you do. What you do has to look professional. I think you need a basic knowledge of YouTube and PowerPoint, and I would call mine very basic. You need to incorporate a strategy plan with your client that starts when you interview them and never ends throughout your relationship, so it's a continual work in progress. Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn are useful for name positioning, but there's a more direct, measurable result in concentrating on your database, and again, that gets down to people and their time. And you also need access to outside resources to help you create new ideas and implement them. And I've been this year on that journey and taking advantage of just about every piece of training that I can get. I like to say I'm an old dog that you can teach new tricks. And I don't know it all. Certainly nobody does. And when I look at the training that I've received, I couldn't possibly do the research that some other people have done into our marketplace and the things that work. So I'm a big believer in spending the money and listening to other people and what they say. So on the passive marketing side, any CRM that incorporates a regular update to your clients is touch points, but added value, not junk. Now again, Dynamics is coming out, and I'm Mac-based, so right now I use GoMax for that sort of passive stuff that sits in the background. There are many, many, many other programs that incorporate all those touch points. But again, you have to design it that it's value added and not junk, and deal with me, and it's all value added stuff. On the educational and the call to action side right now, I use a program called Constant Contact. And again, Dynamics, I understand, has a lot built into it that will be very similar to this. But right now, for me, it's templated. It's very easily measurable. I have metrics on every email that I send out. It looks professional. It's very low cost. It has a survey function in it as well, which I've used with my clients. It has full imaging, so you can set up all the images that you want to incorporate in your emails. And you can send out to your database in less than 30 minutes when news breaks. So I have mine set up that with a Bank of Canada release, I can shoot a video, have something out to my database in less than 30 minutes. I use YouTube for housing my marketing videos. I use iMovie on my Mac for editing and creating. And again, there's a full array of programs out that you can use for editing videos. I use a flip cam for my videos. I think they're out of production now, and you're probably a better solution is a better quality camera with a microphone, but my little flip cam does high def and does 2 hours of video, and it's easy to set up. So I use that for the videos. For new ideas, Greg Williamson, I'm talking to Doran Aldana. Again, Verico Academy, the online webinars, the lender webinars, anything that can help me expand my mind or my direction and be innovative. And then finally, keeping up to date on all the lenders' policies, the economic changes, the stock market, and so on. So how's my marketing strategy changed? Well, since 2002, I started off in 2002 thinking that I've got to keep my variable clients up to date on changes in the Bank of Canada rates via emails. And I also had my fixed rate clients targeting them on early renewals. And I switched to video email in late 2011. The readership of my emails in a normal email marketing program, it's very good if you get an open rate of around 8 to 10%. And my email open rate actually climbed from about 25% to 33%, which, and I'm told in email marketing stats, is very, very good. I never did a great job on marketing my renewal clients effectively. I never had the time or thought I didn't have the time, and that, again, changed with videos. My videos are being passed along by my clients to others where my emails were not. I get great comments on my videos. I'm getting return clients from over 5 years ago who may have renewed with their existing lender and who are now coming back. Many clients mention video as a reason for returning. The trust is implicit and has been built, allowing me to compete on service and strategy and not rate. And I think that's one of the big keys in our marketplace. And certainly when we're looking at competing in the marketplace against other brokers or the banks, I think the future for us is based on that strategy-based with our client and not selling on rate. The other thing that video does, it gives me the ability to talk to my database in a video that's more effective than a phone call and watched by my clients all the time. You know, in the past when I'm looking at my renewal clients, I think, God, I don't have time to phone everybody. But what video has given me the ability to do is literally make a phone call to them over video. And it's seen by all of my clients at their schedule, at their leisure, and the results have been amazing. Okay, so this was an actual marketing plan for 2011 and 2012, how it was implemented. So in January, I do a normal video economic update to my database, including comment at the time. I was fully open about what was happening with the rate wars and the state of the economy. In February, I came up with an idea to order a USB key that is actually in the shape of a key. So this thing looks like a key. It's in the shape of a key, and it has a loaded USB key. And I recorded a video called "The Key to Your Financial Future," and I mailed that out to my database to all my clients who were renewing in 2012 and even into 2013. And in that video, I addressed the changes in the market, the outlook for 2012-2013. I addressed my variable rate clients. I addressed my fixed rate clients. It was educational, and it had a call to action built into it. Went away for holidays it was on a first line trip, I think. Last trip I guess I'm going to be taking. First week of February, I went away. Came back, and when I returned, I had 26 appointments from Tuesday to Friday. I was blown away. And I prepared a PowerPoint to use in meetings with my clients to explain where variable and fixed rates had been in the last 12 years and to explain the potential changes to the future. Showed them the impact on their mortgage with rising interest rates and the benefit of a long-term rate strategy. And again, I'm using the inflation hedge calculator strategy that I learned through Greg in following up with my clients. In March, I followed that up with a video update on what was transpiring with First Line and BMO's $2.99 rate offer. And again, it was educational, but there was an implied call to action by my client. I followed that up to all my First Line clients then with a letter explaining what was taking place with First Line and that I had their back. I did an economic update in April, focusing on renewals, long-term strategies, again, educational. Did an update on June on impending changes in CMHC and OSFI, both with clients and realtors, and it was educational with a call to action. And interestingly enough, the cost of the USB keys in the mail-out that I did early in the year was about $1,500. So if I look at the time invested and the cost of that program, it was minuscule compared to the results. And these are the results that I've had to date. I lost one new referred client from a previous client to a competing BMO offer. Now, this client was in Toronto. It was very difficult to deal with over the phone, but I lost that one to a competing BMO offer. I have not lost one existing client to a competing rate offer from anybody else that I've dealt with. I did about 60% of my volume in past years with First Line. I've not lost one client to them yet. I've renewed, converted, or refinanced over 70% of my 2012 renewals to date. I have in my pipeline more deals than I closed in all of last year, representing more volume than I closed in all of 2011. My gross income is up 49% year to date. I created a watch list for all my variable clients to keep them enjoying their variable discount as long as they can. But in each variable rate client, I bring them in, I interview them, I show them the impact on long-term rates, I show them the discount, and I said, you know what, we don't want to act ahead of time with your variable because you have a discount that just doesn't exist anymore. And the longer we keep you in the variable, the longer I keep you up to date about what's going on with Bank of Canada, the better off you're going to be. But I do have the ability to book you into a 10-year rate with simply a phone call, and then in 30 days follow that up with a full application. So I go through them, I look at what they're planning to do, whether they're renovating, whether they're moving, what they want to do in the future, and all of that is strategized in advance. Then I put them on this watch list. So I have right now about 35 people sitting there ready to convert, who are ready to convert into 10-year, who have been pre-sold on 10-year, that are not even in my pipeline yet. I found many clients are converting on their renewal date, but many are also paying the penalty to achieve long-term security, and I'm not having any discussions. I think I had one discussion with a client on the penalty, and I think I used a little of my commission because this guy had done a huge number of deals with me in the past to offset some of his penalty, but I'm not finding that as a question. I'm not finding rates as a question at all. I'm seeing clients returning from over 5 years, again, who may have renewed with their existing lender. They've seen my long-term strategy. I've talked to my long-term, the educational part. They're seeing nothing from their existing lender. And I'm grabbing a few bank deals, which is sort of sweet. So the summary, the landscape's changing. It's changing every day. And I think you have to have an effective database marketing plan to allow you to connect with your clients instantly and create opportunity out of diversity. When I say diversity, if you look at the changes that are happening, and with First Line, I mean, in my case, with all of that business, I looked, oh, my God, what's going to happen? And then I said, wow, this is a huge opportunity for me. And I've capitalized on that opportunity, and I still have a lot left that I can capitalize on with that First Line database. For younger agents, key to the future is make sure you start off investing in yourself with education and time, and to represent the industry as a professional. And there's more to this business, I think, than knowing how to put a deal together. What I try to do, the banks don't do, and my competition doesn't do it, and it gives me a significant market advantage. Establish your database marketing plan off on the right foot and keep analyzing the results. And for those guys who are old dogs like myself, don't let success divert you from what you need to do in continually updating and educating yourself. If you have a database, examine it, see if it's being used to your full advantage. And video isn't for everybody, but if you can, try it, because you'll see big dividends. I see all sorts of video out on the internet right now, but it gets lost in that sort of plethora of video noise everywhere. And video is far more effective within a concentrated audience of your past clients who are in a position to sing your praises to others and to recognize they need your help in that new home purchase. And I think that's one of the biggest things that hit home to me. And the fact that I educate, I don't sell, I create added value, my clients are appreciating it, and I'm seeing it obviously in the results. I don't have time for realtors other than the few I deal with, and it's nice not to be realtor reliant. My business is 95% past client referrals and then 5% real estate. I think it's a goal to work towards where your future success is not at the whim of a realtor, although I'll tell you about a program in a minute that we're piloting right now that looks like a good one for those that are concentrating in the realtor market and for some of our younger agents. And at the end of the day, don't blame the market, don't blame your broker, don't say you don't have the time, and don't say you have the money. Invest in yourself, your level of professionalism for yourself and your clients, and create your own success by knowing how to capitalize on the opportunities around you. So, guys, I've been around 23 years. I started changing in 2002. I've evolved over the past 10 years, and I think your time frame should probably be a lot shorter. And if you want copies of my videos or my mail-outs, anything like that, I'd be happy to share them. That's it, guys. So questions?
Perfect. Well, Brian, first of all, I want to thank you very much for going through your great summary and PowerPoint presentation that you did here, and I commend you basically on that. And I think a couple of things, if you're listening on the call here, is if you look at what Brian's doing, Brian's taking on a long-term approach with his clients. As you notice, he has one of the key things he said, he has 35 clients he's right now monitoring, and he's not getting any business out of them right now. He's just monitoring to see what they're going to be doing. And I think what you have to look at is you've got to take a longer-term approach with your clients and to cultivate your clients now. It's not just working on the deal, getting to one transaction. If you're transaction-based, and that's basically the summary of what Brian's looking at, if I could summarize, you're going to have real problems in today's marketplace because you have to move out of that transaction base for a long term. So I commend you very much on that, Brian.
Thank you, Joe. You know, one of the comments that somebody made to me, they said, Brian, you're focusing a lot on 10-year business, and isn't that counterproductive because you're not going to be able to churn that business and you're not going to be able to do things with it. And yet I'm taking a look at it in a totally different fashion because if we do a 3-year or a 5-year mortgage, that mortgage is open to be poached at some particular time, either with the existing lender that you're dealing with or, they're going to renew that client or ultimately some other bank's going to take a shot at it. And with these 10-year clients, I'm now creating a strategy with them where I'm going to be paid if they do a blend and increase in the future. But I have a client, the lender has a client for 10 years. That gives me a 10-year time span to keep levering that database for everything that I'm doing with that existing client, that client sees. And on the variable side, I've been doing that since 2002, so a lot of my success has been showing clients what they could do with a variable and paying down the variable. And they have a high level of trust in me because of the strategies that I created with them in the variable. And now I'm just transferring that over to a 10-year strategy.
Excellent. So, Brian, we do have a few questions here I want to ask you. One thing, you do phone call your database. How often are you calling your database?
I don't call my database. I don't phone them.
You don't phone them? So you don't phone your database at all?
No,
so you're strictly doing videos, email,
video.
Everything that you've discussed, but you're not phone calling at all?
No, I do. I very seldom call my database unless it's in direct response to an inquiry. But, to give you an idea, I said don't call my database. I mean, when my video hits, the phone rings off the hook, both the phone and the emails. So as opposed to having to sit here at night and phone somebody and they might be having dinner or trying to get a hold of them at work or leaving a message, when my video goes out, it goes into their living room or goes into work. They see it. They may not look at it right away. I've had video, the ones that I sent out in February, people are calling me now and say, Brian, geez, I forgot to talk to you about that, but first line's going down. Tell me about it, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So the video, I think, is a non-intrusive way that they get an opportunity to see you, and it's like having a conversation with them. You're having a conversation. They're watching your video, and you're talking to them in a very personal way. So it's like having that conversation, and so I can do the video and see who's looking at it, and the response from the video is absolutely amazing.
So now with the videos, how many times a year are you sending a video to your one client? How many times a year are they getting?
Well, first of all, if I got variable clients, every time there's a change in the Bank of Canada rate, I do something to give them an update on the landscape with regard to the variable, what's happening on fixed rates. And then I use video selectively in that sort of call to action or educational. So when I do the Bank of Canada, I'll put some educational stuff in there. For instance, this Friday I'm going on holidays for 2 weeks, and I'm going to be sending out a video to my clients, again, for all the ones that I haven't had call me yet or haven't arranged appointments yet, discussing that I have a strategy for their variable. I want to keep them in their variable. If they're with First Line and they haven't talked to me, and I'm going to create both a national and a call to value again out to my video clients. So, I do whenever the Bank of Canada changes, or if there's a significant event that I think is going to impact my clients. So again, part of my strategy in my video that's going out this Friday will also be to talk about the changes with lines of credit and how that can impact people down the road. And if they're doing something with their mortgage, or if they've considered that they need a line of credit for investment or whatever, now is the time to do it. Don't wait until it's cut back to 65%.
Okay, great. One thing I was like you've mentioned a few times here, Brian, I think which is very key too, I want to touch base on, because I think if people look at how's your pipeline or anything on that, and one of the key things is you're bringing your clients in, if I'm understanding, is sending out the database and you're setting appointments to come into the office to discuss this. And I think what a lot of people look at is they're trying to do how many deals I've funded in a month versus how many appointments do I have this week? How many clients are coming this week? How many clients are coming in the next month? Because you're going to close a certain percentage of it. And I think it's very important that, you got to shift from how many deals I'm doing in a month to how many appointments I'm going to have and how many appointments I'm setting up this week and for the month. Is that very true to you say, Brian?
Yeah, you know what? I would say you're bang on the money, because the way I look at it is I look at how many opportunities I have. To give you an example, 2 weeks ago, I think I had 38 appointments in 1 week. Mm-hmm. That's huge. I mean, I was just about wiped by the end of the week, but it was 38 opportunities that I had to sit in front of a client and discuss their business. And, some of those were sign-ups that I had that had been created, but every opportunity, I want that past client in to talk to me. And even my passive marketing, which suggests to them a review of their mortgage every year, is, again, an opportunity to touch that client. And, again, an opportunity for me to say to them, guys, if you really like what I'm doing, is there anybody else out there that that I can help? And the other thing I've seen this year, I think more so than before, is my past client referrals are significantly ahead of what they were in the past. People are recognizing value. And in these changing times, people are recognizing this is the stuff that their bank doesn't give them. This is the stuff that other mortgage broker is not going to concentrate on. So if you're doing it and they're not doing it, they're going to gravitate to the person who is creating that level of professionalism and know-how that's benefiting them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Brian. I think that's one of the key aspects is that, like you said, is you're meeting in, but you're asking every client that comes in, you're doing a consultation. You are asking them, do you know anyone else you can introduce me to, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going over their own personal situation. First of all, what are you doing? Are you planning on moving? Are you planning on renovating? Because we're going to design the mortgage around you. And then at the end of that conversation, I had a client in the other day, and they paid off, I think, something like $40,000 off their mortgage in the last 5 years, and they're very aggressive plan. And they said, you know what? I got a friend of mine who was talking to me the other day, and I showed him what I'd done, and he said, God, I don't believe that. How can I do it? And the next day I got a phone call. So, yeah, it's the opportunity for you to create another opportunity for yourself. And too often we're looking out there in the marketplace and saying, well, what have I got to do? And if you look at advertising is really just corporate positioning, but it's really hard to measure.
Yeah.
But when you do it in your database, it's directly measurable. You have instant feedback on what's going on.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree 100% with you. Brian, we do have one other question. Another question came up on the videos that you're sending out to your clients. So I think which is key. Are you keeping them under kind of 90 seconds?
No. Actually, my videos will range anywhere from about 4 minutes up to 9 minutes. And I've had people say to me, well, God, Brian, those are long. It depends on how you stage the video, and it depends on how you introduce the video. And that's, again, something that I've learned. Now, I tell my people right off the front when I record my video, I say, guys, this video is going to be 8 minutes, or it's going to be 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, that's good. So you preface it right in the video how long it's going to be time frame-wise.
Exactly. And these are the things that I'm going to cover. And, guys, stay tuned because, I know this is a lot of stuff, and I appreciate the time that you're investing, but stay tuned. And I haven't had any bad reaction. And of course, people know me. I don't talk a lot.
Exactly. Well, Brian, we're just gonna wrap up here, and I gotta thank you so much because I've enjoyed your talk today and picked up some great insights, and I hope everyone else on the call is. And I think it's extremely generous of Brian to willing to send a copy of his presentation out to you today, which is a great template for you to use. And so I think everyone on the call should take advantage of that. And Brian, I really appreciate you today. It was, you lived up to your words of mortgage professional today, very much so.
Well, thank you. And again, hopefully, this sharing of best practices, I'm a big believer in. And, of course, I'm a big believer in the Verico network for the level of professionalism that we represent in the marketplace. And hopefully I've given people a few tips that they'll be able to use in their own business. And, again, I don't mind sharing my videos or my letter that I sent out to First Line. I just love what's happening right now. I mean, thank you very much, First Line, for what you did. Created this huge opportunity.
Fabulous job today, Brian, and thanks for offering that up. Brian's email here is brian@mtgprof.com, as well as you also find some of Brian's videos on our Verico YouTube channel. He's provided it to us in the past at vericomagazine.com or Verico YouTube channel, either or. You will find some of Brian's past videos, so you can see how he scripts it and talks to his customers directly. As well as you can also find all the past Hear from the Pros videos there as well. So I know a few people have asked, can we get a copy of this presentation? If not by the end of today, first thing tomorrow morning, you will be getting an email with this a link to this presentation as well. So if you like this, you enjoy it, watch it again, pass it to other colleagues within the Verico network and within your office, and share these videos. These are opportunities for you to continue to learn and be educated by some of the best guys in the industry. Now, on that note, I'll take 2 seconds here to kind of update you on a couple things that Brian touched on from a Verico perspective. One, on the coaching side, come September, actually, we're going to be running at least 12 months and probably in the continuous future. Verico Canada is taking the initiative to bring on a coaching program that will be a regimented, scheduled 12-month webinar. It could be half an hour to an hour call. You'll come on the calls from whether you're an owner or an agent, and there'll be 2 different perspectives for each of you, and can come on the call and have a coach say, here's the next steps you do in the next 30 days. Here's some collateral that you can use and implement in the next 30 days, and let's come back in 30 days later and see how that went and talk about the next steps you can implement in the next 30 days to help you grow your business. So keep your eyes open for that come September. As well as Brian touched on Verico Dynamics, so I'll take that for a second and give you a quick update. For the broker owners on the call, you're going to be receiving a package in the next couple of weeks, and for the agents, you're going to see something come early fall here as well. And it does touch upon a lot of things what Brian's talked about. It's touching your customers. So we've got a full, what do we call almost the starter set of template emails for renewals, anniversary, happy birthdays, things that Brian's already communicated on. You'll just be able to kind of turn it on, set it, forget it, and those emails will go out to your customers, and of course you can edit those as you see fit. As well as if you have ideas for best practice sharing ideas, we're going to have a forum so you can submit your best practice idea to us. We will create it in Verico Dynamics for you. We will set up the schedule for you. We will share it with the rest of the network. So when you see it, you can just say, yes, I like it, click the button, turn that on, and now your customers will also receive those best practices. So if you have more ideas, please share them with us, because we're definitely looking forward to rolling this out to all of you, either now in the summer or in the early fall in the agent perspective. So again, we thank you for coming on the call. Again, thank you for Jared for coordinating and hosting this. Brian Matthey, thank you very much for your feedback and content. And everyone, enjoy your summer, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.
Thanks,
for now.
Guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
You too, Brian.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye now.